We are with Sleepwalker today on the day of their CD release show at the Clubhouse. Let's start by just saying everyone's names and what you play in the band.
I'll go first. I'm Michael. I play the guitar and the piano.
I'm Brian, I sing.
I'm Joe, and I do bass and backup vocals.
I'm Matt, and I play the drums.
Awesome. I saw on your description of your band, your organic rock. Is that what you consider? Can you describe that? How do you mean organic?
Well, we just kind of approach our musical writing process and style that we go for as just rock and roll influence, but we just write anything that feels good to us and sounds good to us. We're not really trying to fall into a certain genre or niche or anything. It's just, it is whatever we're feeling at the time. And
it's just you.
It's just us, and it just 9 times out of 10 comes out in a rock and roll umbrella. So
Okay.
we thought that was the most accurate way to describe our sound, generically speaking.
Okay. I kind of thought that was kind of cool because so often you see these descriptions that it's like this/this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to figure out what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You guys were finalists of the 2011 Ernie Ball's Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
Got to play the Phoenix date of Warped Tour.
Mhm.
And this year you get a full week.
Yeah, because we actually, from our show here in Phoenix on Warped Tour, we were picked as one of the 4 nationwide finalists to compete in the finals of the Battle of Bands. So we got to go out to LA, play at the Key Club, and they had Randy Jackson from American Idol was there, and some of the guys that own Ernie Ball were there. It was a big deal. And one of the cool things that they surprised all 4 bands with when we got there was that we would all still be getting a week on Warped Tour regardless. So
Awesome.
We've got 7 dates that we're going to be playing. The official announcement is not till the end of March, I want to say. But yeah, we'll be on Warped Tour for 7 dates this year.
Awesome. And so you'll be announcing what those dates.
Yeah,
cities are.
exactly. The routing and the dates and all that is going to be announced, I think, towards the end of March.
Okay. How awesome is it to be able to say we've played Warped Tour? Is that pretty cool or
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
as cool as I think it is?
Yeah, it is really cool. I was thinking about it the other day. Back when I was in school, one of my earlier years at college, I actually did a presentation in one of my classes about Warped Tour, and I was just thinking how funny it was that it was a few years before I'd be playing it, with these guys up there. So
Yeah.
and a lot of good stuff has happened because of it. So
Excuse me.
it's a cool show and a cool experience that hopefully most bands get to be a part of, because
Yeah.
it is really cool.
I'm excited to play a date other than Phoenix. 'Cause
Right.
it's,
Maybe
very-
somewhere cooler.
Very, very hot.
Yeah, but if you can play Phoenix Warped Tour, you can play
It's
anywhere.
true.
So.
It's true.
Survival of the
Yeah.
Okay, so I mentioned in the beginning you guys have your big CD release show tonight.
Mhm.
How exciting is that?
Very exciting, very relieving.
Yeah.
It's finally
Two.
here.
Big relief.
Well, we've been a band for about 2 years now, and some of the songs on the album are some of the first songs that we wrote as a band. So this album is a huge kind of culmination of the past 2 years of everything that we've done. But we've found ourselves a lot in the 2 years and found a good direction and a good overall message and all that. So releasing this album is kind of taking the first 2 years of this band and cementing it. And then tomorrow it's just back to writing a new album and back to grinding songs out and stuff like that and just seeing what happens. So
Awesome.
we're excited.
So what would you say your overall message is?
We don't want to kind of classify ourselves as necessarily like a political band or promoting certain ideology over others, but the way that I like to think about it and describe it, and definitely the way that I approach lyric writing is promoting open-mindedness that seems to be missing a lot these days. There's a huge, I think we all feel there's a huge just pandemic of apathy and complacency that is rampant in our country, maybe our planet, and I think people have kind of gotten away from being so open-minded and paying attention to what's around them and asking the right questions about everything.
Or asking any at all?
Asking any, yeah. People take what they read in the newspaper and see on the news and all that, and they take it as fact. And while we should be able to trust those outlets to tell us the truth, you still as a person need to question what's around you and really just open your eyes a little bit and have a better view on everything. Use your peripheral vision, not just with your eyes, but just with your mind. And I think that's the big thing that we want to get across. Obviously with that, we're huge proponents of, we don't support any violence or any ill will or hate or anything like that, just as human beings, but it's all kind of umbrellaed under the statement of we're very pro-humanity, I guess you could say, and we want to promote intelligent thought and open thought.
Okay, very good. Obviously you guys like music. What are some other things you like besides music?
Well, that's about it. I mean,
Buffalo Wild. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo
Yeah, there you go.
Skyrim,
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
There's always at least one gamer.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one in the band that's not.
That's not.
I mean, we've all got our little activities. These guys run a recording studio, and you've got Skyrim and.
Skyrim.
Does anybody knit? Any embarrassing hobbies?
No embarrassing hobbies. I mean, to me, the band is a huge part of my life.
It has to be.
I mean, I've got a day job still, and I went to school. I've got a college degree, but everything I do is focused around the band. I find myself getting distracted at work because I'll all of a sudden think of like a cool song lyric or an idea for the band, and I'll have to duck behind somewhere and make a note in my phone and stuff like that. So that's our life is this band, and probably will be for at least our 20s, if not longer, hopefully, and everything else is just kind of what we fill the time with.
Yeah. In between the band stuff.
Just fills the gaps.
Everybody asks the question, who are you influenced by musically? But I like to ask, who are you influenced non-musically?
Well, that's kind of probably all different answers for that. Me personally, just because of the message that I try and write lyrically, people like Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi and anyone that has taken an idea and has furthered society in a positive way with it.
Okay.
I think it was good.
The one other thing that I would want to add is when picking your influences, find out, you obviously have your modern day influences, the bands you want to sound like. Check out what influenced them, and that's really where I feel you really find, and don't try and mimic somebody. Take what they have and spin it to you. Don't ever try and be somebody else. Pick and pull from all these different influences.
Well, that's not to say that.
Right.
Learning other people's songs, I think, is a great way
absolutely.
to learn. You learn new chords and you learn different progressions and things like that. And there's a lot you can learn from covering other people's music too.
Before I even played in a live band, I played in my room for 8 years by myself. And then I ventured out.
Yeah.
Musicians.
Well, I started out when I was trying out for bands. I would, I think I was singing Misfits covers on a little cassette tape that I would record, and I was like 14, 15, and I would listen to it back and just try and judge whether it sucked or not. But it got to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna go out there and try out for this and this band and see if they like it or not, and I got lucky, and here I am.
Yeah.
8, almost 9 years later, still singing, so
Still sucks.
still sucks.
It still sucks.
Thank you, Misfits, I guess.
This is, I just kind of thought about this question last night. It's hard to, with any business or anything you do, it's hard sometimes for people outside of that to understand what you do. What are some things that you wish people knew or understood better about being a musician that, misconceptions or anything like that just really bug you?
Practice.
It is a job.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that we're over here just like drinking beer and jamming out, you know, but like we come to practice and have like a bunch of emails to answer, and we had all this frustration with getting our CDs today, and like working on the van, and you know, picking up tickets and selling tickets. It's like we're really actually doing something over here, you know.
Yeah.
That, and we're not trying to annoy you with our band.
Yeah.
We're doing something. We're making a product that we care about. You know, where would we be if like Steve Jobs didn't shove the iPod down our throats?
No doubt.
And I'm glad he did.
Oh man, yeah.
But you know, and that's what it equates to. I think is we're making a form of art, and art is meant to be seen and heard. And so, you know, don't get annoyed if we're shoving it in your face. Look the other way if you don't like it, or check it out for a second, see if you do.
What's it gonna hurt?
We don't expect everyone to love it.
Yeah.
You know, my grandparents probably aren't gonna listen to shape-shifting on repeat. But that's fine, you know, because they understand that I love what I do, and as long as everyone around me, even strangers, if I see someone that is really determined and is passionate about what they do, whether I agree with it or think it's good or not, so much respect is given, and I will at least check it out. So I think, you know, don't be quick to get annoyed or anything just because, you know, I'm blowing up Facebook about my band or I'm talking about my band a lot. It's just what I happen to do. It's what we love to do. So hopefully,
we talk about sports, we talk about music and sports.
Talk about music, sports, food, beer, but music's the big one. So hopefully you can.
That's a good sign, though, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, the beer and the food is just kind of stuff that comes along with it. You know, that's also stuff that fills the gaps between playing music. I'd say.
I don't know how to actually ask this question, so I'll do my best. When I watch interviews, I try to get inspiration, you know, on trying to come up with some good questions and things like that. When you were anticipating this interview, was there something that you really, really hoped I would ask and I didn't?
Not necessarily.
Anything you rehearsed in your head? Or
No, I mean...
Just came to it not knowing what was going to happen.
No expectation.
You come into interviews expecting to talk about yourself. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about ourselves, myself.
Do they?
Well, that's what we're here for. So I do the best I can. But, no, just... I think some bands do have things to say. You know, it's not just playing music and writing songs about girls, so getting a chance, especially in a band like ours, getting a chance to talk about our ideas and the direction we're taking our band and, you know, what we plan to do musically, lyrically is always a good direction to go in, because that's what we get excited about. You know, we're stoked to release this album today, but from the conversations we've had, it seems like we're a lot more excited for tomorrow. Just because tomorrow is day one of writing the new record.
Yeah.
And we haven't even started yet, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the songs are going to be about, what they're going to be titled, anything. But we're just excited to see what happens. So talking about the future is always a good one, I feel.
Okay. One more question that I usually wrap up with. It's kind of two-part. Where do you think the Phoenix local scene is, and what do you think the community can do to make it better?
Go shows.
Yeah. We all need to just go have a good time.
Spend time learning new music. Now, you know, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff coming out in Arizona, all around us, and just, I mean, if people spent more time really, you know, looking for it, they'd find that there's this wealth of art all around them every day, and it's happening all the time.
Yeah, there's some really great bands right now. The Author, Fair and Debonair,
Georgiana
Hawkins,
all Receiver,
American Standards.
American Standards is killing it right now. Yeah.
The Awful Din too. We played a show with them first time at the Clubhouse.
Yeah,
a couple months ago, and I think it was at the Horse and Hound next door drinking, and I was like outside the venue, and I heard these guys start playing, and I run inside. I'm like, who the hell is this? Because I was so stoked, you know.
Yeah.
I watched them play, and I was just. It was something that I hope everyone gets to experience. You know, a lot of kids these days, even friends of ours. That's really frustrating that people show up to see the band they want to see and then they leave. But the reason why that there are so many bands on one show is because there's so much music, and it's a mix of everything, and you should get to see the show in its entirety. You know, there have been years in the Arizona scene, all of us have been to shows like this, I'm sure, where you would show up when the doors open and you would stay until the show was over, even if you only heard of one of the bands. Or you didn't, you know, you've talked about going down the Nile.
Friday night, back in the day, Friday night, you just went down to the Nile. You didn't know who was playing. It was just Friday night. What do you want to do? I don't know, $5. Let's go to the Nile.
Right.
And that was it. That's what you did on Friday night.
Throw down the music you never even heard before.
Oh yeah, I loved it, and yeah, it was really sad to see that it's not so much that way anymore. You know, kids don't just seem to go to shows just to go.